about, today we're going to be talking about volunteer management and some research that has been done. But before that, I'd like to have Allison from Trent University Microcredentials just explain a little bit as to what's coming up in May.
Hi, my name's Alison Peake and I'm the micro-credential administrator at Trent. And if you're not familiar with micro-credentials, they're short skills-based training programs aimed at enhancing people's resumes and also filling skills gaps within our community. So Kerry has been a great addition to our program and has created all of our non-profit offerings. But we're also in the process of kind of creating some more for May. And if you came to the last Connect meeting, you will have met Sophie Andrew, who's going to run a kind of strategic AI for business leaders starting in May. And Lois, who is presenting today, is also going to be running a women's leadership in governance course for us. So we have other courses as well, and I will put those in the chat later so you can see what offerings we have. I will hand, and if you're ever interested in the micro-credentials that Trent has, you just go to our website or you can email us if you have any questions. So I will hand you back to Kerry.
Thank you very much. And we have Lois Tuffin with us today, and perhaps best known as an award-winning journalist. Meanwhile, as a volunteer, she has built and implemented communication, volunteer, and fundraising strategies for Yes Shelter, Homegrown Homes, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Peterborough, and other agencies. This work has earned her a United Way Woman of Impact Award, the title of Charity Villages Volunteer of the Year for 2024, and the King Charles III Coronation Medal. As an instigator and board chair of Volunteer Peterborough, she's on a mission to ignite a passion for community work within every person in this nation. Lois, we'd love to have you give us your presentation, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, hello, everyone. And I see some of my volunteer organizations are here and some of my other volunteer centers, so that's exciting. I'm going to see if I can technically figure out how to show things. All right. I love color, so here's some color for you. So I'm going to start at the beginning of where we began, and then I'm going to walk you through some of the things we've learned that might be helpful for other organizations to tap into. The volunteer landscape has changed, and we are just trying to keep pace with it all. So I'm going to go back in time to another election campaign. So back in May 2022, there's a provincial election going on in Ontario, and Jagmeet Singh came to our community. And this is how he was greeted on a Wednesday afternoon. So we were pretty embarrassed to find ourselves being discussed as an unfriendly and potentially racist organization community. So this happened on Wednesday. But on the Saturday, a friend and I were running something called Porch Pirates for Good, where it's a food drive where people put bags of food on their porch and people dress up as pirates and go steal it. So after this event, I should say, a group of us got together and say, how on earth can in the same city, a group of people act so horribly and a group of people act so good? And perhaps the gap is, where do people go to find places to be good? It's really easy to end up in a dark hole in the internet, especially after COVID. So we decided that we would create a force for good, which led to a pile of research. So what we ended up discovering was that nonprofits had a desperate need for new talent. People were leaving boards and leaving organizations. They were aging out. They were moving away. Their health was getting to be more problematic. But people who could fill those gaps needed to find a place where they could discover exactly what worked for them without having to go through 200 websites and see what things were posted and do this whole gigantic search. And we also learned that when people volunteer, it really impacts their health. It connects them to their community. They're more physically active. Their brain is working better, and all kinds of wonderful things arise. So here we are thinking, okay, these are some big issues. Let's try to solve the puzzle.
Okay,
So-
if I can just cut in for a minute, we have a question here. Any chance you
Great.
can make the slides bigger by sharing in presentation mode?
That's a really good idea. Shows what I know. How do I do that?
Go to
Slideshow.
slideshow
Excellent.
And then-
See, I love good advice.
and
From current slide.
from current slide to the left. Yep.
See? No. Hey, does that work?
That's not.
It will.
You click
Showing up
From
on my
beginning?
screen.
from beginning or current slide, it will turn it into the presentation mode, I think. See there, it says from beginning or from current slide.
Now I've got a whole other problem. See? I need technical support more often. Display
If you
settings.
want, if you unshare and then put it in from current slide
Oh,
and then
see?
go back into share, then that should work, I think.
You think I know how to unshare. Oh. Okay. See? I'm really good at certain things, and this is evidently not one of them.
That's okay.
You just
So
have
just-
performance anxiety. I think you're very good at this already.
All right. From current slide or from beginning?
Wherever you want to go, like wherever you
question.
were.
Oh, it all looks the same
Thank
to
you,
me.
Amanda.
It's okay.
See, one of the things we learned is that you need people from
You could go from beginning and then just toggle back to where you were
I don't think it's
after
working
you
out for me then.
shared.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. I wish my slides were bigger. I want you guys to see them. I worked really hard on these things.
They look good. It's a little hard to see unless you're in presentation.
Oh, I know. And you know what? I get that. So let me see if this is working. Now I'm on the wrong slide, but oh, I have more than one screen. We are really rocking it now. Okay. Hang on. Yeah. For heaven's sakes. There might be muttering. I promise no swearing in this presentation, and here we are. All right, so what do you see? Do you see a true community effort?
We see you. I see you.
See you.
Crap.
Share.
That's the only swearing you're gonna get. That's the harshest word, I swear.
Here we go.
Okay.
Does that look good?
We're looking at your Zoom page now. Oops.
Well, that's not what I want.
If you just go to
Yeah.
Okay, so now
This is
right,
hilarious.
so you have to go to the other screen because we're on your note
Oh,
There you
screen.
go.
So
go
just
to the
PowerPoint
middle
it.
one you just saw. Oh.
Okay, is it good?
No, it's still on the other one. Go to
Click
your
on some
click on.
currents. Sorry, I'll stop.
I have more than one screen, which is aggravating as all get out. Oh my heavens.
That middle one you had up would have been probably a good one.
See, I think we should have just messed with stayed with the small slides. Now we're all confused. So now I gotta go find everything again because somehow I closed it. So I tried to close the screen.
We can see your file structure and it's very good.
Oh, I'm trying to find the damn slides. Oh, damn, another swear word. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to behave.
You're allowed. You're allowed.
Okay,
Alright,
try
wait.
clicking on slideshow, then from current slide, see if that works.
How does that look?
It's looking the same. Nope, you're back to your notes slide.
Is it in a different panel somewhere? If you click on your PowerPoint, is
So I
Is-
think
is
this
there
is
gonna be
quite
more than-
large now. Why don't we just continue with what we can see here? I think it's still an improvement.
I
We
can't
can
find my
always
tab.
share that. We can always share the slides.
Well, we're going to share the slides, so yes. I've completely lost where I am, so this is really not working for me. Can I
Okay.
just,
Here, I would keep it here then. It's okay.
okay,
Oh, you can try like one last time, like on the bottom right corner, you see there's a button, like right next to the negative.
problem
You
is I
can
have
try-
so much crap, I have so much stuff open from all the Zoom that I can't get to my other buttons.
Yeah, click that one and see, let's see whether that's working.
I don't know which button I'm looking for. So
Let's
Well,
just continue. I
yeah,
think
let's just
it's fine.
continue, guys. There's nothing here that is going to be a test at the end. So anyway, as I was saying, so as we were building this, we were discovering all these health issues and whatnot. We discovered that these organizations were also interested in what we had on the go. Age Friendly Peterborough had started its own task force for volunteering directed by City Council. The Chamber of Commerce was going to start something. Peterborough County Community Foundation, they were all about to do it. So they came aboard as partners, and we built a coalition that carried us through our first year. So we were all learning together and discovering how we were going to go ahead. Only piece of the puzzle is United Way. We still have not had United Way come aboard with us. They used to run the volunteer center and it closed. And I'm sure many of you have been in communities where volunteer centers have come and gone. But now here's the part where I want to get some participation from you guys and understand what barriers that you feel volunteers face. What are the things that stop people from getting involved in the community work that could really enrich their lives? So you can add in comments, or you can, oh, we have a raised hand already. All right, Amanda, I love it.
I think people get nervous about time commitment.
Yes. That is huge. 100%. Awesome. Is there anyone else that wants to throw something out?
Yeah, lots
In
of
the-
stuff in the chat.
Oh yeah, I gotta read the chat, see? La 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 la. Transportation and flexibility with shifts, 100%. People that are working really struggle. Onboarding processes are always a challenge. People getting worried of getting buried in the workload.
And
Yeah, the balancing
language
paid and unpaid
issues.
work. Oh, someone's talking, sorry.
No, I was talking about language. Some people.
Language issue is
Yes.
remarkable. We do a lot of work with the New Canadian Center. Too much screening, so that's interesting. Is trying to find that balance, right? Like the onboarding. So fascinating that is key. Knowing what the organization is all about. Excellent. A lot of volunteers had to stop because they got second or third jobs. We hear that from students in particular. They don't know where to look. Cost, level of security, background, too many meetings. You are my people. Onboarding commitment, balancing life, language. Once you say yes, you'll get more than you can accommodate. Commitment, follow through. Vulnerable sector checks. Oh my gosh, that has been a barricade for us for sure. Business time constraints, support while they're volunteering. Newcomers, it's overload. Cost of onboarding. Yeah, well, being intimidated, lack of self-esteem and confidence. That is remarkable. You guys know your stuff. Thank you for sharing so openly. Here's our list that we kind of came up with. Time was the number one because people have inflexible schedules or demands. They don't know what they're getting into. They don't know where to look. Some people think volunteer roles are boring, something that they have to do, something because they've been mandated to do through schools. Police checks, they really just want to have something that fits between their snowbird, their time when they're traveling or whatever. But at the bottom, I was really surprised, but no one asked. So a lot of volunteerism is driven by my coworker said you should join the service club, or so-and-so said, let's do this thing this weekend. So we recognize these barriers, and we worked really closely with Trent University's career space to do some research. And then we start focusing on solutions, because I don't ever spend a lot of time on problems. Like, I recognize them and we move on. So what we decided to do was offer centralized listings, that we would be the hub where people could come and find things. Detailed listings that answer those questions. What is this group all about? What skills do I need? What time is it all going to happen? When does it start? When does it end? So we can really take away the mysterious aspects of all that. What do I need to, in terms of education, do I need certain things? Or what are the limitations in terms of, is the site accessible? All those things that factor into your life. We have been trying to work out low-cost workshops and advocacy with police. That's an ongoing struggle. We also want to celebrate volunteers and tell people how much fun it is so that they understand that they're going to get something out of it and it's not going to be a chore. There's a lot of small nonprofits that struggle to market. So we have really found a niche there of giving people attention. And you don't have to ask. If we make it super easy, do you find a volunteer role on our social media channels or on our site so that you can go ahead and find the job that you want. So here's some of the social issues that we've identified. Oops, This happens when you change your slides slightly before your thing, you leave out an N. We recognize that time is the biggest thing that people consider. I don't want to get too far in. I need to understand what it is. And that's something that a lot of organizations were not putting on their online information. They were like, come join us whenever you can. Well, that didn't answer the question that people had about, am I going to succeed or fail? We live in a society that is very failure proof, I will say. So we're really aware of social anxiety. Now, you guys can put up your hands for this one. How many people here have dared to make a phone call without texting somebody first? It's a great social sin. So if people are unwilling to take a phone call without getting a text first, there's the idea of them cold calling a charity and saying, you know what have you got going on? And maybe this will fit. And to have that conversation is completely overwhelming. So one of our solutions was to offer filters. So people that had a certain amount of time or a certain set of skills or a certain interest could go through this jungle of options and narrow their choices via our website. And we really celebrated the benefits rather than the work. So we put down, what is the volunteer? We're asked groups to list. What will the volunteer get out of this? What will your organization get out of it? And what will the community get out of it? For example, if you're delivering meals to older people, you may form a relationship with an older person, or you may save somebody from having to move out of their home. So just making sure that people understand the impact of their work so that it resonates at whatever level that they are trying to get it to work on. So that is that. So here's what we did. We built our own matchmaking website. And it's like a mix of job hunting methodology and dating app. So think like Indeed. So Indeed, you create a company profile, but then you post the jobs that you have open. But the methodology in the background really matches dating app, like a kind of a psychology approach. The nonprofits post their jobs, and then they have, well, we call them opportunities. So we launched in July 2023, and we find that the site over time, as people said, this is working or not working. What we did that's different than the other volunteer centers is we have hyper-local listings only. There are several national databases like this one, but when I typed in my criteria and even said that I want to volunteer in Peterborough, the job that popped up was in Calgary. People here don't want to do it in Calgary, they want to do it here. So that is why we have invested heavily in creating a solution that works for our community. So what you're going to find on volunteerpeterborough.ca when you go take a look, we now have 162 organizations. We're a city of 84,000 surrounded by a county of 84,000 people. So there's, I think, 420 registered nonprofits in our area. So we are onboarding people as much as we can. We have 1,600 volunteers that have registered. They have identified their skills and their interests so that we can match them up with things. And we have 2,000 people visit our site that haven't registered every month. So we also blog to try to teach people about what's going on and to celebrate some of our people. We have made it relatively easy to navigate. Older people still struggle with anything online, but we do our best. And we are now going to be adding the ability for people who join as members to our organization can actually search our volunteers so they can find people without having to wait for them. Because right now the onus is on the volunteers to go in and try to find a place and apply. So we understand that equation goes two ways. So this is how we are doing this. We are largely volunteer based. We have one part-time employee, but we have a really robust volunteer expertise and power within our team. Not only does this allow us to draw on some fantastic people in our community, but we also learn the struggles that other people face. Volunteers don't show up. People, quit and don't tell you. People have a death in the family. So we are living it so that we can relate better to how people are functioning. This is how quickly it has grown. And now I guess I wish my slides were bigger, but we had 100 registered volunteers when we opened, and we have now over more than 1,600. We started with 15 groups, and now we have 162. Oh, it's just been incremental. There's a very large appetite for what we do, and I know there's the appetite exists in other communities. So we don't just go online, we also have parties. So we had a volunteer fair in May of last year, and it sold out so fast. The room was crammed. Not only that, people flooded in. People lost their voices that day because they never stopped talking to the people that showed up looking for a volunteer. So we are doing it again this year. We have a larger venue, but to watch the conversations of people that are so passionate about volunteering, meeting up with the people that really, really want them was amazing. Our music festival, our free music festival in downtown Peterborough that runs all summer, signed up 60 people that day. The hospital had so many emails in her inbox when she got back. That's all she did the next day. So this is a really effective way, just a nice, simple little trade fair that got people out. We also invited the TV station and they recorded a ton of testimonials. So we have lots of information to share after that. So then we added 3 more volunteer fairs in small communities around us that ran over the years, trying to do some outreach because Peterborough is more than Peterborough City. Now these are the kind of testimonials we're getting. So for Peterborough Music Fest, they call it a game changer. We got them 4 amazing board members, plus 60 volunteers on boots on the ground for their events. Canadian Council for the Blind only needed 2 people, but they also found someone with a different skill set that was able to help them out. And on the people side, this is Michelle. Now, Michelle was retired and bored. She ended up finding 2 roles. One, she's really involved with Peterborough Folk Festival, which allowed her musical interests to really find its home. But she also goes in every Tuesday and cooks meals at the School for Young Mums. She was a young mom, and so now she's able to give back and takes in her own spices. She uses her mom's recipes, and she is so excited about this role. It has really brightened her life. I mentioned healthier communities arise from volunteering. These are some of the ways it does that. People are less lonely, they're less isolated, people have purpose, especially for recent retirees, which is a group we looked at. We found a study that says that volunteering in getting out into the community and solving social isolation, being socially isolated is equal to binge drinking, to carrying extra weight, to being sedentary and breathing polluted air. So therefore, volunteering is an antidote for those things. It really knits people together and it builds capacity for really good things to happen. When you get a new board member or somebody new to your community who's got great ideas, it really is a launch pad for all kinds of fantastic things to happen. So here's where we're going next. We're going to keep reaching out to more groups. We're rolling out more features as people say, you know what, we need this, we could use that. We're trying to simplify the site so it's easier for everyone to use. And we are looking to share this hyperlocal model with other communities who want to roll it out in their space as well. We've learned a lot of things. We're always growing, but if there's anybody who wishes to follow that model, you can certainly talk with us. It's one reason that we're here today. So I'm going to thank anyone who out there who is part of a volunteer community and who is fostering volunteerism or giving their own talents. So one of the things that you can continue to help in your community is keep volunteering if you're started and invite others to keep doing it too. Make it contagious, and we're going to be an infection that spreads in a really good way. And we are really concerned about keeping it alive in our community, because if we lose this resource again, I have no idea how we would ever rebuild it. It has taken a tremendous amount of work. And if anybody else has lost theirs, you're going to know that it's a big gap and it leaves people scrambling. So there we go. There's my question. So I don't know if people have things they want to ask. There's probably a million things. I can show you the site, but you guys can go explore it on your own. It depends on what the appetite is in the room.
Excellent. So if anybody has a question, please feel free to type it in the chat, or if you go down to your React button, you can actually raise your hand and we will see that you would like to ask a question or have a comment to share. So, and then you can lower it once you've had a chance. So let's see. So will we send out the slides afterwards? Lois, will you be providing us with the slides? Okay, so we can do that. Excellent. Oh, Trent University also has a volunteer expo to connect students and agencies, or 2 agencies, so that's nice.
Yeah, so their volunteer fairs in September, so we deliberately run ours in the spring so that we complement each other. We're all about working with whoever else is doing what they're doing.
Okay, so Lois, we have a good question here. How did you get so many volunteers and agencies to sign up so quickly?
And we worked our butts off. So to be honest, we ended up working the phones. We let people know that we were out there. We launched at the Trent University Volunteer Fair, which was in the September afterwards. But the 15 that we got, we basically introduced it, and then we ended up actually creating profiles for some of the people because it was so new and they were so unsure. We also had our community partners. So Age Friendly Peterborough instantly put up a site and other groups started to follow. And since they started to get results, we were able to just keep sharing. People are starting to already respond to this. So sharing testimonials and success stories was really big for us. We have a 9-member marketing organization. So we ran a TV campaign, we ran a paid social campaign. We had really robust social media channels. The local newspaper gave us a column. We ended up on the local cable channel. So we basically tapped into everyone we could.
So did you notice a difference in people willing to volunteer after COVID? A lot of organizations are finding they just can't get the numbers back. And do you have any insight as to why that might be?
So I think if you go to the same populations, you're going to end up with that the same resistance. We found the people that stopped volunteering, they told us through a survey, they were taking care of their parents, they were taking care of their grandchildren, they had become snowbirds, so their lives had changed. Therefore, we started to pursue earnestly people that had moved to the community, people who in particular who were students that were volunteering and now wanted to become leadership volunteers. You have to find the people that you have not been going to before. And that's the same problem that organizations find. You know, we ask the board members to ask their friends if they'll join the board. So they were doing the same cycle and staying in the same circles. We are trying to expand the circle, and that is where we're finding people. My treasurer on my board came from China. My secretary for my board moved here from Niagara. Like yep, there's all kinds of people that don't have those social connections, and you need to think differently in order to tap into different populations.
Excellent. Somebody's asking, did you charge fees for organizations to join?
Yes, I saw that one. So we tried to launch a membership model last year. It was not successful just because of a series of circumstances that included our website designer's dog dying a horrible death. So we recognized that our groups weren't ready for it, and so we have dialed it back. We need to build features into the site that will give people something that they don't have already. Like we have clients, nonprofits that say, we have all our job listings on our website. We have more social media followers than you do. So why are we going to pay you? So they do pay for the booth. They love coming to our events. So we have now had to up our game and go back and say, you know what, we need to give you an ability to filter volunteers through the site and speed up that process, because that's where we have value. So again, a really big learning. So when we get to that point, then we will try again. Right now we are fundraising and being very creative.
Any other questions out there? Glory, can you share some of the information that you've gathered from your area? Lori is the executive director with Community Foundations in Kawartha Lakes. And I would assume that you're experiencing with your nonprofits, you know, having those challenges, getting the volunteers that you used to have before COVID. Do you have any insights or anything you could share with us?
Well, it was an excellent question in chat about the numbers of volunteers before COVID and after COVID. When you work for a public foundation, you really are in touch with a lot of different nonprofits, same as Lois would see. And we noticed a lot of patterns. We noticed skill gaps, a lack of treasurers, a lack of board secretaries, aging out boards. So there's a gap in the composition of of board members. And so we actually, this is what drove us to work with Carrie and Allison to develop a nonprofit micro-credential. I was a little bit more focused on the skills that were skills development needs. But I love what Lois has pulled together, and would love to see some kind of solution like this even for Core of the Lakes.
Excellent. And Lois, hopefully you've been able to read. There's quite a long comment in there with question. Are you able to take a look at that and provide some
I saw
insight?
something really long. Gotta catch up. Experience. Oh, this is the recruitment plan for the Parents for Children's Mental Health Program. Difficult, specific volunteer will facilitate these.
Difficult.
Okay. So we are hoping to expand this model beyond Peterborough, but I'm going to share my screen again so I can show you guys a sample listing so you can get a sense of how we do this, which will probably answer some of those questions. So for examples, this is our site with the opportunities. And along here we have the causes going to be benefited. So if you're looking for mental health is one of the categories in here that people would search for and that people would so if that was an area of interest. And then in here we have all the skills. So if you're looking for someone with treasury skills and all that stuff, so they can click on all this stuff and filter what they need to do. So after you click on these things, you end up narrowing the jobs that are in this long list of things so that people only end up finding the things that are interest to them. So that's on that volunteer side. In the profiles of the volunteers, and I'm not logged in, every volunteer can go in and every job that is suited to them ends up filtering into their profile. So we're just trying to, again, make it so much easier for people to find things. We also have all the organizations, which is not loading for me. Temporary you. Come on. Play nicely. Everything's load a little slower. For heaven's sakes. So these are all the organizations that are in there, so people can again go in and find an organization like yours that would be serving that, so that people can take a look. For the organizations, they can search the volunteers. It's not a very robust thing, and that's what we're building next. So I hope I answered the question. Not.
Excellent. And is there an eligibility criteria or screening process for organizations to be part of your platform?
So because every organization has its own screening criteria, we have not done that. We serve as the matchmaker, the introducer, the cheerleader, because if you're volunteering with vulnerable children, you're going to need this. If you're going to volunteer to pick up garbage at the side of the road, you're going to need that. There's no point in us running everyone through a police check and then you never needed the darn thing. So since organizations have been doing it themselves since the Volunteer Center here closed in 2016, they have developed their own procedures. We tell people you're going to need a vulnerable sector check to work with this group, because that's what they check off when they set up their criteria. But we are not part of that process. We have had one incident where the volunteer was inappropriate and came back. And so the organization told us that we might want to be careful how we're matching them in the future, but that's all good learning. The other thing that we've managed to do is we've had a group that said we take our site, us down because we have too many volunteers, and we've asked them to refer them to other places. So we've created a collaborative space, which is really nice.
I just put a link in the chat so you can see the different volunteer centers across Canada. So if you aren't aware of them, you can go there and then maybe see if there is a volunteer center near you.
Yes, there's lots of volunteer centers doing amazing things. I know Christina's on here from Volunteer Ottawa, but there's lots of organizations doing a lot of amazing things. I believe we're the only one with the local site, but you know what, that's
Charmaine has a question. If you'd like to turn on your mic, that'd be great. Oh, can't hear you, Charmaine. We need your mic on.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Awesome. Sorry, I was using a headset and then transferring to computer. It's always a challenge. It was more of a comment around sort of the board and recruiting for those roles. One of the things I was thinking is the long-term commitments of boards are something you really find a hard time for people to sign up for. And especially if they're in leadership roles, I think like you're asking people to commit to 4 years of their life. And I find that's a challenge. And of course, the other thing I think is we are seeing people wanting more short-term episodic kind of roles. So we have to offer those opportunities to bite people into the organization. So I'm child protection. So yeah, you talk about child welfare searches and vulnerable sector searches and necessary onboarding, but you also mentioned something about we have a volunteer advisory board and members from China. Pre-COVID, we met in person with our board, our volunteer advisory board, who assist me in the policies and procedures of our program. But post-COVID, a lot of them were virtual because we could continue to have. So some of the nice things about COVID is that you can have hybrid roles where volunteers can participate from anywhere in the world because of the virtuality of those board meetings and such for us. And the other thing I was thinking about right away was the national strategy that Volunteer Canada is looking to put in place because volunteers dropped off the precipitous post-COVID. I know for myself, a lot of the roles I took on were filled with snowshoeing and cross-country skiing and jogging. And I didn't want to go back to patient surveying in a health center with iPads, icky after COVID. So I filled my days off that I couldn't volunteer during COVID with really meaningful things, and it made it tough. And the other thing I think of is I love Volunteer Toronto, Volunteer Ottawa. I'm always using those volunteer centers for all the resources they provide. But Volunteer Canada at one point was talking about setting a national screening process in place, which to me would eliminate a lot of those barriers that Lois was talking about, where they don't screen because every organization screening is unique and individual. I mean, I'll be long dead and gone by the time a national strategy could be put in place because you have to meet with all the police boards. They're differently done in each province, police checks. You'd have to meet with all the safety boards in terms of keeping them live and current. But to me, that's something that would make a big difference in the lives of our onboarding and keeping and maintaining volunteers.
So
Sorry.
Charmaine, if I could address one of the things that you mentioned, when people say there's nobody out there that wants to be on a board, there's nobody about, yes, there is. And one of the things that we've been addressing is the mindset of you can sit there and whine and bitch and complain that you can't find people, or you can get off your ass and create a profile and actually try to participate and do something. And I'm a get off your ass kind of person. We saw the whole list of barriers. Setting up the site was extremely difficult, but there is a way to do it. And if people don't want to apply for that, that's fine, but they want to do, there is something to do there. But you can't sit there and I've said to people, well, I can put up a thing, but nobody's going to apply. Well, maybe because you're not a leader that's getting people excited. We've tried to create this dynamic where tell people why they want to be involved with your organization and give marketing tips. We're actually telling people how to set up their booths at our volunteer fair, because last year 2 groups failed because they showed up ill prepared. They sent somebody who was an introvert, and we're trying to give them the tools to be successful.
And Lois, did I hear you say that one of your volunteers for your organization is someone from China? They're virtual?
She moved here to go to Trent University.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
But she found us while
Excellent.
she was still in China because she wanted to be involved in the community.
Yeah. Do you have any knowledge about because things can be done virtually, have you explored that, having people from other provinces or other countries helping you with any of your volunteer projects?
We've mostly heard from people that have been snowbirds that have found a way to volunteer virtually when they go away to a warmer place.
Yeah, I love it. It's I think it's a whole new concept, is just being able to volunteer virtually. I think that would be very attractive for me, being in a rural location, being able to help out other locations, with strategic planning or something, marketing, but being able to do it virtually. So, looking at for virtual volunteers as well. I think I'm going to put a whole piece in my next workshop about that.
Yeah, it's also helpful for people who have disabilities and can't travel easily.
Thank you.
It also helps with your equity in terms of being more equitable in your onboarding. For me, we have 13 language bases spoken within our volunteer program. That's more than within our staff program. And they're not all virtual. There are a lot of international students. And yeah, like you said, you know, boards are really long commitments, sometimes 4 years, but we can be creative in, you know, getting people short-term or episodic roles that intrigue them and all that sort of stuff. But yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Lois, thank you very much. And we look forward to receiving the slide decks. I'll send them out to everybody who joined us today. Next month, as we say, this networking event is the second Monday of every month. And I will send you all invites to the next one, which will be with Tanya Cran. And she's going to be talking about grant writing. So if you have any questions or just would like some more information on, you know, what grant writing, but Lois, you gave us lots of information to think about. I know there's some people from other communities that are thinking about, yeah, we'd really like to have a volunteer information center, and I think you've given them some information to be able to think about how they might be able to establish that in their community. You're getting lots of thanks and lots of praises for your accomplishments, and I'm really appreciative that you took the time to be able to share some of your insights with us.
Can I answer the one question about Jagmeet Singh? Someone, Lori asked if we ever told him that he did this, he was part of this. We did email him, but we never heard an answer. So I hope he got the message.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Well, I'm going to save the chat just in case there's anything in there that I missed, but I will be reaching out to everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.